Well, first of all, Paul, welcome to Radioacktiva. How are you?
I am very good. How are you?
Guess you guys are incredibly happy, coming with a new record.
Yes, yeah, it feels good. I've been rehearsing it today with the rest of the band, so it's fresh in my mind and I'm excited to play it to people.
Of course. Well, tell me about it. Stream of Life. How long have you guys been working on the album? When did production begin?
Well, to me, we've been working on it for a long time, but I think when I mentioned it to Duncan, our guitarist, he was like, "Well, the songs were written really quickly," which is true. But we ended up kind of building up lots and lots of material, which is what we did with the last record. We ended up with like 35 ideas or something like that, and then tried to find ones that we all agreed on, that we all thought were the ones for the record. And we made that decision late last year and started kind of contacting Ben, who ended up producing the bulk of the record, who we worked with on the last record. And he said, I can do it next February,
Mhm.
March, if you can. And we were very eager to get going. So we ended up going into a studio in January with somebody called
Oh,
Burke Reed. And Burke has worked with a few different people. I think he's worked with Courtney Barnett, for example, and we liked the sound of a few of the things that he did. So we got in the studio up in Newcastle with our band, with Gemma on keyboards and Andrew on bass, and did two songs to kind of get the ball rolling. And then we flew to Atlanta to record the rest, just the three of us, myself, Duncan, and Tom, with Ben Allen becoming the sort of fourth member of the band, and he played bass. And so we just played as a kind of live band together, which was really, we didn't know what to expect
well, but it was, a big
because
process. And
we didn't know
since you mentioned, coming up with different
it was.
ideas
I
and
mean,
choosing the best.
yeah, it felt like, I mean, to me, it feels very economical and lean because it was just the four of us in the studio. There's less keyboards on this record because, we don't have a permanent keyboard player. And rather than sort of putting keyboards on everything and getting somebody else in, we were like, no, this is kind of the three of us and Ben on this record. Next time, who knows what it'll be, but on this one, yeah, to me, the sort of songwriting is very consistent, and that's the key, really. We can try a few different ideas out, and they might be fun or they might sound very different, but in the end, if the song isn't good enough, then it can't go on the records. The records have to be super strong.
Cool. The previous record is called Nature Always Wins. Now it's a Stream of Life. Is there like a connection there or something?
I think so. I mean, I think there's a kind of connection between each of the records, and then we get further and further away from the first one. And yet, I think as people, how much do we really change? And I guess that's one of the things that we were asking on the last record, especially because I'd become a dad, so a lot of my lyrics were about the idea of what do we pass down to our children, what's being passed down to me, how much of that is nature and how much
Mm.
of that is influenced by our environment. And I think with this record, I'm a bit further on. I am technically middle-aged. I mean, I am swimming in the stream of life. I am right in the middle. But the idea obviously is more about what do we need from life, and the things that sometimes take us off track are the things that we don't need, but they're the things that we want. And that kind of is summed up in the title track, which is called Stream of Life. And it says, when you get the thing you want, but it's not the thing you need, you disrupt the stream of life and the restlessness impedes. And it's true to me, the kind of restlessness that you get when you're searching for something and you're not getting exactly what you require, but you think you're getting what you require because it's all the things that you want, all your desires. You end up away from where you need to be. And there's a kind of essence of us, I think. I don't want to get too mystical, but like our kind of soul, what makes us who we are. And I was reading a book, well, I was reading a short story actually by the Brazilian Ukrainian author Clarice Lispector. And in that book it talks about a stream of life. And it suddenly got me thinking about, that's a really nice way of putting across this thing that we call our soul or our our kind of existential code, the things that we believe in and our values. And I think to me, I'm always kind of assessing what am I doing? Why am I doing the things that I'm doing? What are my privileges as a person? What are my needs? And all of those things end up in the songs. You know, they are reflective, thoughtful, sometimes melancholy. And I think
Mm.
that's a kind of thread that goes through our records. But as I get older, I feel like maybe it becomes even more to the forefront.
Man, lots of reflection, like thinking of several things. It caught also my attention that right in the middle of the record, we have an acoustic song, Armchair View. I'm guessing you guys thought of it that way, right? Like we have your own worst enemy. It's a like a big riff, like a punk rock riff, and you go through the record, and then in the middle, an acoustic track, Armchair
Yeah.
View. Tell me about it.
Well, we definitely we think a lot about how the album is structured. We
Hmm.
are old-fashioned now, and we make no apologies for it. We love that idea of taking people on a journey from one point to another across a record. And I actually put forward a track list where it was the penultimate track, the one before the end. And I thought that would be a nice kind of people think it's the final track and then it's not. But Duncan came and said, no, this could be the one in the middle. And I agreed totally with him. And to me, again, yeah, it's that idea of people in a privileged position, as a man, even, we live in a very unequal society. And a lot of the time you end up with people making very judgmental comments about women and their place. I think that's part of the song, and it kind of connects up to other songs that we've done, like "Girls Who Play Guitars" from our
Huh?
second record. It's in that song. It says it's her life, and her life is worth living. It's up to the individual to kind of decide what they do and how they act. And I think we're all judgmental. We all do it. But I think it's about a lot of the songs are about thinking outside of yourself, not being too egotistical and focused on yourself and selfish. And I think that song, yeah, the sort of when Duncan first played it to me, I thought it would be nice to have these kind of strong lyrics that are kind of looking at this situation and the privilege that I have. And maybe I shouldn't be listened to. Maybe somebody else should be listened to instead of the sort of the white male middle-aged guy in the room. But also to me, this beautiful finger-picked thing sounded like Elliott Smith or, something very non-Maximo Park. So I thought it would be good to have those kind of strong lyrics with that.
But since you mentioned women, how did Vanessa Briscoe end it out there?
Well, it's a good question. On the last two records, we've had guest vocalists, and we worked with Mimi Parker from the band Low, who sadly passed away a couple of years ago. We worked that was on Risk to Exist. On the last record, we had Pauline Murray from the punk band Penetration, who is a kind of legend in Newcastle,
All right.
um, around these parts. And when we were in Atlanta, Ben, our producer, said, wouldn't it be great to kind of carry that on if there's somebody from Atlanta or from Georgia that we could select? And I said, what about Vanessa from Pylon? Because as a big REM fan when I was a teenager, I used to read about all of the different bands from Athens, Georgia, and the B-52s were one of them, which I think you can hear a bit of that on the record, that we love the B-52s. But Pylon are another one of those post-punk bands from the early 80s that just really are inspirational still to me. And we gave her a call through Ben, the producer. He said, I think I can get in touch with her. And it all happened just after we left because we ran out of money. You can only stay in America, in North America, for 3 weeks if you're us. So we stayed our 3 weeks, and Ben said, "Don't worry, I'll get in touch with Vanessa." And she came into a different studio in Athens, in where she lives, I guess. And they recorded it and sent it through to us, and we kind of chopped it up a little bit. But we were overwhelmed just to have her on the record, and having somebody from the south of the south of the United States. They've got this beautiful accent, this southern accent, and it's very unusual to be on our record. It really stands out, and so yeah, we were very excited, and I'm glad that she accepted because we didn't think she would really, because we're just some guys from the northeast of England, and she's to us a post-punk legend.
Yeah, but it's the record sounds great, man. I'd really love to
Thanks.
listen to it. They sent me the preview so we
Oh,
could
great.
talk about it. And well, really looking forward for you guys to come to Latin America. You guys never play around here, right?
It's true. It's true. It's sad. It's sad to us. We would love to visit Colombia, go back to we've played in Argentina and Brazil a long time ago with I think at a festival with Sonic Youth, which
Ooh.
stays in the mind. Brilliant festival. So, a bit further up, we're playing in Mexico later this year. We're playing in Mexico City at the Corona Capital Festival. So hopefully, I mean, while we're in Mexico, it's not too far away. So if any local promoters want us to come, we've put the feelers out. We're asking the questions, but yeah, if somebody allows us to come, we'll be there.
That'll be great, man. And well, let's hope the stream of life can
I
take
feel
you
the
down.
stream it would fit in with the stream of life. It would not
Yeah.
disrupt the stream.
Oh, that's it, man. Thank you very much. And looking forward to see you guys in Latin America. Corona Capital has a great lineup. So
It's true.
enjoy. It's going to be a great festival in Mexico.
Thank you. Well, I hope we get to see you eventually.
Yeah, let's hope that, Paul. Have a nice day, man. Bye bye.
And you take care. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye bye.